washed pot never boils. I think the turf must be damp. We're in the Cornmill Theatre in Carrigallen, County Leitrim this week, and they're going to do some scenes from their current production for us. We're also going to have some Western-style horse riding down at the old corral, and we'll have some songs from Charlie McGettigan and Eleanor Shanley.
This looks like an ordinary Morris Minor, but it's not. And you may think that the couple over there are like any other farming couple, but they're not. And you probably think that this here is a cluster of an ordinary milking machine, but it's not. The fact that there are two cups is a dead giveaway. A cheese, goat's cheese, made in Corleggy, which is just outside Belturbet in Cavan. Silke, how much experience did you have making cheese before you moved here to beautiful Corleggy?
None whatsoever. Just experience of tasting and eating cheese.
So how did you learn?
I went to a course in the University College of Cork for 2 weeks, which was mainly for farmhouse cheese making, not so much for factory setup. So it was a group of mainly women, and we learned how to cheese make. But then, of course, if you start your own setup, you need your own cheese, so you need to develop your own recipe.
And how long did it take you to get it right?
It took me over 2 years to get it really right. And
what sort of problems were you having?
Well, I was making cheese in the kitchen to start off, and I had 2 or 3 buckets a day, and I made different cheeses. And some of them, like, they're varied in size and in texture and in colour sometimes. And I remember little rubber spheres, completely indigestible and not edible at all. And some of them blew up and exploded. And all sorts of things went wrong with them.
But
eventually I came up with something that was easy enough to make, easy enough to transport, didn't need too much cooling, and that was when I was mainly working for export. That was important, to have a cheese that was not too delicate handling. And I had good friends who would be telling me which is a nice cheese and which is possibly not so nice.
Honest friends.
And some of them were honest. And that helps if you get good critics there. And some French tourists, you get fishermen tourists in Cavan a lot, and a lot of them come from France. And they had heard about the goat's cheese, and they told me. And I thought they must really be the experts, since there's so much goat's cheese made in France.
So Silke, you market your own products. How do you go about it?
I did go through distributors, and I still do for a certain amount of cheese. But I then discovered that it would be a better idea to actually approach the delicatessen and the health food shops myself.
So how do you cope with the milking and the making and the marketing?
Well, keep motoring. But I have a cheese express that goes every second Saturday, very early and very fast.
How long does it take you to get from Corleggy to Dublin?
It takes me 2 hours.
That's good.
Yeah, it's not so bad. It takes me 2 hours, and
so off you go on your cheese express.
That's right. And it's packed with cheese usually, and
you come back with
hopefully nothing.
I left Germany behind because I love the island and I don't like the Germans too much. So,
Why is that, Michael?
you know, too much. It's too organised over there and too efficient, and it's a great country without the Germans. But I think Ireland is nicer.
And had you spent much time here in Ireland before you settled down?
Oh yeah, my first holiday I made was an old Beetle, and we came Stranraer and we arrived here in Ireland, and we arrived in the north and we were afraid, and we went down to the south, you know, in one go, and it was great there. It was just lovely.
And Michael, there's a musical connection there as well, isn't there?
That's right, yeah. I working with the Dubliners, and I was working at that time with the Chieftains. I'm what you call their tour manager, or their daddy when they over there in Germany. So they taught me a lot about their country, and I love the music. So
What did your neighbours make of you when you moved in first?
Lunatics.
one neighbour was saying that they might start having elephants and camels there next year.
Michael, before I go, could you give me your favourite saying in your best Cavan accent?
Oh, gee, I wouldn't know at the moment, you know. But, well, ask Tommy down in the car.
Fetch me a glass, let's fill it with fine romance. Pour slow the wine, and then let your eyes kiss mine. You with the charming eyes. Lately I find myself truly beguiled. But this is a waltz, and I can't refuse to dance with a man like you. She must be fine. She must be enchantingly kind. She must be fair and never reveal that she cares. Now that you've won her heart, spin her around till she begs you to stop. For this is a waltz, and no lady refuses to dance with a man like you. If she inquires the meaning of love, you silence her words with a glance. And if she desires to ponder and pause, then charmingly ask her to dance. If she inquires the meaning of love, you silence her words with a glance. And if she desires to ponder and pause, then charmingly ask her to dance. You promised me that you would forever be kind. And if it had to be, love would find comfort in time. Now that you feel no more, how can I follow you out to the floor? But this is a waltz, and no lady refuses to dance with a man like you. This is your waltz, and you'll find someone to dance with a man, to dance with a man like you.
Yes or no? Yes, I get Billy. Mark, you've had enough of Billy Engineer. He robbed you, Manus. He robbed me. Shoot him, shoot him. Manus,
Manus, please, Manus, listen to me. Listen to me, please, Manus. I swear to God, Manus, please. Listen to me. Manus, listen to me, please. Please. Get me out.
Well, we've moved the action a little bit in this production of The Gentle Island by Brian Friel to outside the Corn Mill Theatre here in Carrigallen, County Leitrim. That's okay, Kevin, you can get up now. That was grand. Good man. Well, Kevin will survive to act another day. But how does a theatre like this survive in a town with a population of 350? Well, 351 now that he's pulled through.
We are steeped in drama here, and we don't find it difficult. We are limited, I suppose, all right, because we have emigration is a big problem here. And our young people are all leaving as soon as they're educated. But at the same time, we certainly have a very vibrant group here, the Corn Mill Theatre Company. And then we have visiting shows. We take in amateur drama, professional people. We had Misogynist, we had the Cherabank Theatre Company, the Blue Raincoats, the Gallowglass Company. Now that's in drama, and we can go then to the music world. We've had Arcady, Dedanan, Eleanor Shanley, Charlie McGettigan, Artie Madeleine, Francis Black and Kieran Goss.
That's fantastic.
Now that's just to mention but a few. And at the moment, in fact, we've just penned in on our calendar a date with the Dublin Opera Company.
Next stop, Luciano Pavarotti.
They're coming in September to us.
We set out initially to build a store for our flats and our materials because we had worked in the parish hall, St. Patrick's Hall, which is adjoining the theatre here. And we didn't have room for the flats, which were building up from show to show year after year. So at the end of one particular season, we set up a subcommittee to look into the possibility of building a store for the flats and so forth. And when they came back to us, they discovered that there wouldn't be grant aid or any money available for that, but there would be a possibility of getting some aid for building a small theatre.
Very good.
The fact that it was a FOSS project was mainly responsible for the fact that we were successful. That meant that we didn't have to provide the finance for the labour involved. That was done through the scheme. So we had to find the wherewithal to buy the materials. We did that through doing shows, a bit of pub theatre, our own shows here. We started with a confined draw in the parish, for which we got great support. And we did eventually get some money from the Arts Council. We got 30,000 for lighting equipment and so forth.
Well, I see your table out there can hardly support all the trophies your group has won.
Well, yes, this year and last year we did exceptionally well, I think. You know, we made it to Athlone on both occasions, finished third there last year, and Eileen here won Best Actress in Athlone last year in the open finals.
Gus, tell me a little bit about this play by Brian Friel, The Gentle Island.
It's about immigration, for one thing. It opens with the inhabitants of the island, or most of them, leaving on boats for the mainland. They're leaving the island for good, leaving one family at home on the island, a family that have decided to stay against all the odds.
Come on, Father, come on.
One bloody room in bloody Kilburn, sir.
I ain't going without you.
Do you think, was the flight of the Errands anything like this?
Come on, there's only one boat left.
Oh, my name is O'Donnell, the name of the king, and I come from here.
Anna, I will write to you, Anna.
You hadn't that much to say to me when I was here.
Honest to God, I will.
Hold on, we're coming. Hold on, we're coming. We're coming. Well, I mapped that fool of a father of yours for the past month to throw the dog in the tide. But he has to leave it till the last minute, and then what happens? The rope breaks. The dog bites his hand, and he falls into the water himself and destroys his Sunday shoes. Oh, where's Philly?
He's out at the salmon, Mother.
Thank God you got a sensible man. Not like the fools that I've seen, drinking themselves stupid last night. Oh, Mother of God. Would you look at that? Put on your shoes, man.
But they're all...
I know they're wet. But I'm not leading you into Manchester like an early Christian pilgrim.
It was the dog. He thought I was going to drown them.
And what were you trying to do? Teach it to swim, was it?
It's
My
about the
God, I
effect
married
the two visitors have on the remaining inhabitants of the island, on the one family that's left there. It's about homosexuality to a degree, because the two visitors are gay, and one of the members of the remaining family on the island is also gay. That's involved in the plot. It's about the shattering of a man's illusions, the father figure on the island, who believes that the island could be self-sufficient, but who discovers, unfortunately, that it's not so.
Come on.
We try to get a good standard in all the shows that we bring into the theatre here. And of course that puts pressure on our own group to live up to that standard. But I think most groups that do the theatre festival circuit are serious about their drama. And really, this might sound big-headed, but the only difference that I see between professionals and amateurs is that professionals are paid for the job that they do. I mean, if people are serious about it, and our group is certainly serious about it, they work hard at it, they work at their technique, they go to Gormanstown to do the summer school there, and they, you know, aim at standards as high as any of the professional groups.
Sarah, I've written to Anna. I've asked her to marry me.
Would you like to have a look at your son? Would you like to see the bull that's going to sire your grandchildren and bring back life to this graveyard?
What's this?
No, no. You don't want to see. Phyllis the prince. Phyllis the hero. Phyllis the apple of your blind eye. And it's easier to blame me, isn't it? I'm the barren one. My wound bears no crop. Like the lower field, good seeds wasted on me. It's the worst mistake your Philly could have made, wasn't it? To have married a sterile woman.
What are you trying to say?
He's down there in the boathouse at the far slip. Your Philly, my husband. That he's down there with that Dublin tramp Shane. That they're stripped naked. That he's doing for that tramp what he couldn't do for me. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And if you're the great king of Inniskeen, you'll kill them both. That's what I'm saying.
Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Well, Ma, here I am. I'm just outside Ballinamore in County Leitrim at the Western Riding School, where they don't exactly teach you to be a cowboy, but they do teach you how to ride horses Western style. So, hombre, this is Missy.
This is Missy?
Yeah. And it is a girl,
Ooh.
I'm told.
The girl and has been a proud mother a couple of times, I'd say. Yeah.
Now then, how to get on is the first question.
Ease yourself into the saddle as smoothly as possible. Not to shock the horse away.
Okay.
There the horse started.
Okay.
Just, this is a forward motion.
Yeah.
So you would have to do a forward motion.
Yeah.
I mean, to put it in a nutshell, yeah.
Oh, there.
Yeah, yeah. Now, why she walked that hesitantly?
Tell me.
Because you're sitting a little bit like that, all right?
Oh, I see, right.
Now, to put it in a nutshell, try to walk on the horse, as if the horse wouldn't be there. Now, give it a try.
Okay.
Come on.
Come on, Missy, we're supposed to turn here, I think.
Got a good seat.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well.
Quite a good body language. Now turn the horse again. Turn, take the horse with you. Yeah.
Like that.
All right. Now concentrate on what we call the pull and slack reins. When you pull, you don't have a steady pull. You pull and you slack the reins immediately, so the horse would have nothing to lean against and to fight against. Let's try to trot the horse. Try to chalk yourself. Imagine yourself in a tracksuit and run off. Which would mean increase the impulsion, all right? There you are. Well done.
Ooh, much space. Ooh.
Back, relax.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh. Well, the basic difference is that what we call the British or the European riding is based on military riding and cavalry riding, which is basically riding from A to B and fight like hell. So your horses are more or less under permanent control. Like you have it in show jumping, you have it in the eventing, you have it in dressage or whatever. While the cowboy style riding, which is by the way based in Spain, you wouldn't have to concentrate on that horse while riding from A to B. You have to train your horse to train himself. Sounds rather ridiculous, but that's the point, because you would have to work cattle, you would have to work sheep or whatever, horses, and you would have to have a very responsible partner underneath your backside.
I notice on your horse there, there's no bit at all in the horse's mouth. Very unusual.
Yeah, we call that the Bosel, which is the Californian adaptation of a capstan, and it works by weight. It's made of braided rawhide, and you don't need power. It's not a matter of power.
It's just technique.
Yeah. When you think you're powerful enough to stop a horse with any kind of steel, it's just illusion. If a horse is panicking, nothing would stop a horse. So try to avoid the panic.
I did a bit of show jumping and qualified to teach, but I haven't done it for a few years now. I just decided to give this a go, see what it was like.
How different is it?
It's very different. It's quite difficult to adjust to. In sort of European style, you use your legs a lot more and you use your hands. You're sort of constant contact with the horse. Here, it's just more relaxed. It's more for leisure. Yeah, you're sort of, your aids are through your body. You're shifting your body weight more than your legs and your hands. So it's quite difficult not to sort of, when the horse goes, just grab him and stop him, you know. But it's good, it's very enjoyable.
This is the start, and this is important always for more training for the horses. But we have a big area on the other side of Ballinamore. We have a few hundred acres there where we can ride as on a big farm, you know? And we go up in the mountains through the forestry, to all these forest roads, many miles. And this is what the people want to do later.
Right, hombre. Where's my horse? Come on. Up you go, Missy. Come on.
Goodbye's the hardest one to say.
Come on.
This is where the cowboy rides away.
And now for all you cowboys and cowgirls, a look at what's on this week. No shortage of festivals, crack in Salt Hill, Celtic Queens in Trim, and the best of seafood in Roundstone. This weekend in Westport, loads of traditional music, while down in Ballybunion, it's a traditional Irish man that's on parade. And even if your name isn't Killoran, you can go along to their clan rally in Tubbercurry in Sligo. Vintage cars are taking to the road in Mallow, and in Carlingford, vintage stories, as well as chat and debate on cross-border relations. Agus, huas in Nunagal, Idja Squail, Ronan o Gaelga, ar fa mi Yule. And while they're revving up their motorbikes in Cork this weekend, they'll be revving up in Athlone in a much more sedate fashion for the week-long 302 Arts Festival.
And there's another chance to see tonight's Summer Signpost tomorrow afternoon at 12:30 here on RTE1.